Greetings everyone. This video I'm going to show you some techniques and strategies for basically designing a home, starting with the floor plan in AutoCAD, and this will be several parts. Hopefully you've watched my other videos on the certification training. Those are good videos to start with because that shows you how to use the all the user interface, the ribbons, the panels, and everything else. So I would definitely watch at least the first one or two videos of that series. The course series that I'm currently still working on, almost toward the end of it, but there'll be a few more videos coming on that. But of course, learning how the program works does take experience and practice, and instead of just going over the same old stuff over and over again like it's on the certification exam, it's really good to get your practice actually designing things. So we're going to design a house, and that's typically what I do is work with buildings. I do a little mechanical design, and you probably have seen some of my videos on that, but chiefly what I do is architecture. So let's begin. And for my students who are in my class, you can use your, and I would actually recommend using the same floor plan that you had drafted manually by paper and pencil. Use that floor plan as your guide. And of course, you can make changes to that as you go along. I would expect that actually, as you're learning, as you're developing, I would expect you to be able to start to see your ideas develop and put put the new things to use all the time. Now, when it comes to drafting with AutoCAD, there's a large component. Well, there's really two components that are important. One is speed. Being able to get to the tools, knowing where the tools are and how to use the tools. But speed is very important. Secondly is being able to figure things out. Okay, there's lots of ways AutoCAD has, or any software program, especially in the drafting field. There are more than one way to do almost everything. And I'll show you one way, and then of course the next time I might show you something different, but there's a lot of variables that have an impact on the decision that I make to use certain tools, certain commands, and things like that. So experience is key, and practice is key. And that's kind of how that works. You really have to be able to sit down with the software, encounter problems, figure problems out on your own. That's the only way you're really going to learn. And one of the best places, of course, you can Google any questions that you have about how to do something. If you run across a problem, you can always Google that. You can also come up to this question mark bubble right up here in the top right of the screen, and click on that and go to the help page. Very useful. But what I'm going to do right now is show you a few techniques as far as getting your plan started. So creating the basically the footprint of your design, and I'm going to go off of one that I had been working on paper and pencil to start things out. And the first thing too that we want to do is we want to establish some layers. So getting started, establish layers is also very important. Don't wait till later to do that, but you just click on the layers properties. And actually, I think this is what this video is going to end up being about, is just how to set up layers. So setting up layers, we have one layer by default. I use that layer just as well as a default layer. Some things I put on that layer. Not a lot of things, but some things I do put on that layer. I'm going to start out by creating like 5 layers. So I'm going to come up here to this little button. It's got the little orange sunshine dot on it right there. And I'm just going to click it 5 times and get 5 layers. Now I'm going to name those layers. Okay, the first layer I'm going to name EXT wall. Did that work right? No, it didn't. Let me redo that. EXT wall. Next one is going to be INT wall. I don't know why that's not working. INT dot wall. Let's see, this layer I'm going to make doors. This layer I'm going to make windows. And this layer, let's see, I'm going to make another something I'm forgetting. I'm going to make casework. And depending on, you know, who you work for and everything, they'll have certain you know, guidelines that you must follow when it comes to making these layers, like how you name the layers. But you know, for my class, I just do something very simple, such as this. You know, naming the layers according to exactly what it is and what it does. So my exterior wall layer, typically, and it's very common practice to make your exterior walls red. Interior walls, I make green. Let's find a, yeah, I guess this bright green is going to work just fine. Okay, and then my doors, I'll click on here and make those yellow. And my windows, I'm going to make those blue. Glass, you know, sometimes it's blue. I'll make it the light blue, not the dark blue. I tend to choose colors that are very visible against the background. But yeah, I don't know, that's just, I guess I don't see well or something. But in casework, I don't remember what colors I've used in the past, but I'm going to use purple or magenta, sorry. Okay, so now I have my basic layers. Now you're going to want to have more layers than this as you go. You may create new layers for things like furniture, new layers for things like electrical, and so forth and so on. Okay, so there's lots of different layers that you'll end up working with, but we'll start with these basic layers. And now that I've got those set up, I'm going to get rid of that box. I'm going to set my layer to exterior wall, and I'm going to start drawing that footprint. And actually, the best thing to do is do it with a polyline. I'll show you why in just a minute. And it really depends too. If you have, you know, different material thicknesses, that may not be such a good idea to do that. This particular design's all going to have the same material thicknesses. And of course, I did forget one other thing here, and that is going up to this properties, not properties, but the application menu, and going to drawing utilities, going to the units box, and we're going to change our drawing units to architectural. That way we draw things in inches, feet, and, you know, fractional inches down to an accuracy of 1/16 of an inch. And we leave the angle the same, and then we just click OK. Now we'll make another change a little bit later when we get around to dimensioning, but for now that will get us started. So stay tuned. I'm going to pause this for just a moment, and when I come back I'll show you how to lay down that footprint.